Chris then wrote a long post asking for her followers to engage in an organized protest against Sega, which included an aggressive message-sending campaign. She asked them to include a paragraph that stated the adverse reaction Chris had upon the sight of Sonic the Hedgehog's blue arms, referring to herself in the text with male pronouns. She then shared the response she got from Sega customer service after sending such a message. They wrote that they could not accept unsolicited suggestions from fans and encouraged her to pursue her creative efforts. The next day, she notified her followers that she would not be accepting any more offers for medallions or commissions until the new year, since the Chandlers would be in the middle of moving from their rental home back to their old house. On December 11th, Chris sent Renee a collection of photos of her strap-on without a dildo attached, and demonstrated how she wore it in order to conceal her penis. Renee had still yet to respond. A day later, Christine messaged her again, telling her that the patch of skin around the jewelry of her taint piercing was beginning to shrink again, so Chris ultimately decided to remove her piercing. 2 days later, she asked Renee if she would help Chris put together a modeling portfolio and make her feel more sex positive. Chris then let Renee know that she believed that trolls were hacking into their text messages and posting their communications on the Quickie forums, when in reality, it was the troll playing the part of Renee who was sharing their interactions, who went by the Quickie forums username Theoden. On December 15th, Chris wrote a cryptic Facebook post telling her followers not to ask her any questions or leave any comments since she felt crappy. The next day, she realized that she could also write her pleas to change Sonic's arm color on Nintendo's online social space, the Miiverse, and posted photos of her message as written on her Nintendo 3DS. She also shared on her Facebook profile that she received a postcard from a Ween with a message supporting Sonic the Hedgehog's blue arms. Chris was not amused by the troll attempt. On December 18th, Quickie Forums member Skyraider91, who had previously posted numerous photos of Chris's house after the fire and had uncovered old documentation from the Chandler's dumpster, leaked a video that Christian filmed in the aftermath of the family gift exchange of Christmas Day, 2004. The video was part of the director's cut of Chris's Yep, I'm on TV DVD, which was given to Catherine as a present.
I wish she was here so that I could talk to her and so she could help me in my quest to get a boyfriend-free 18, 20-year-old girl.
It was later revealed that Skyraider was in fact the same troll who had played the part of Katie's cousin Al, who had accompanied the two on their date. The following day, Chris posted on Facebook that she had downloaded the game Meme Run for the Nintendo Wii U, which capitalized on popular internet-based image macros and trending memes, believing that her trolls obsessed over them. She found the game to be sensory overloading and determined that all the trolls were seriously stressed, weird, offensive, mentally demented, and screwed up. On December 19th, Christine uploaded 43 images on her "Fix Sonic's arms immediately, Sega!" Facebook page, depicting the new Sonic the Hedgehog in various TV show stills and marketing photos, with his arms altered to be the original color. She pleaded for her followers to mass send the pictures to Sega and Cartoon Network to convince them to change the character's design. The next day, Chris wrote on Facebook that the family's Christmas would likely be only fair, as they were not ready to finish moving back to their old house before the holidays, so she suggested that people consult her wish list for possible presents or gift cards to send her, strongly suggesting that she desired the big Grand Emporium Lego set, and advised against people sending her gag gifts, such as lumps of coal or copies of the Sonic Boom game. On December 21st, Chris once again posted a link to her mother's car, which was still up for sale for $10,000, and also listed Barbara's phone number for possible inquiries. In the comment section, Kim Wilson wrote that Barbara's car's fair market value was around $3,000, and doubted if anyone would choose to pay as much as she desired. Christine replied, stating that it was her mother's idea to price it at $10,000. During this time, Chris was still text messaging Catherine, trying to come to an understanding over their breakup. On Christmas Eve, Chris sent her a few finalizing texts. "I'll tell you another thing. While I can appreciate it from my mother and pets, but when I get a show of positive emotions or vibes from anyone else, nada and or a paint thud in my heart. And that is blamed on my autism, and when I am in the depressed and lonely boat like I am again now. But whatever. Enjoy your Christmas with your parents and the stepmom and other family alive and close, and whoever you end up having for a boyfriend and sweetheart. And because everyone around here locally either hates me and my mother, or overlooks or ignores us. We both are feeling depressed. At home, we have each other, but that's about it right there. An emotional, crappy Christmas. Peaceful day, but with everyone outside of our house not appreciating us much at all.
Yeah, sure.
On Christmas Day, Chris messaged Renee, letting her know that she had bought figurines for the game Skylanders, and that she also had family time and some bonus cash to keep her spirits up. However, her pets were causing some trouble. She wished that she could wake up in the morning either with a sweetheart by her side, or having magically transformed her body from male to female.
Yeah. 2,000 square mile. This is described as a white male, 5'9", with long brown hair. So he's wearing 2 separate glasses and fake breasts. His name is supposed to be Christopher Chandler.
On December 26th, Chris and her mother drove to Charlottesville's Fashion Square. While Barbara stayed by herself to have lunch, Chris entered the game retailer GameStop, from which she had been banned for vandalizing Sonic Boom displays. At the time, user of the site Tumblr, Monozettai, who knew of Chris Chan, was at the store at the same time and managed to record a short video and later wrote an account of what he experienced.
What an idiot.
I looked up and saw Chris surrounded by 3 to 4 employees in a corner. I recognized Chris's voice before their appearance. A woman was telling Chris that they had been banned from the store and needed to leave, to which Chris responded with something like, "Oh, come on! Can't we let bygones be bygones?" The employees ignored him and continued to tell him to leave and threatened to call security. Eventually, they dispersed to do so, which is about when I began filming. The short clip shows Christine on her way out of the store, and right before exiting, she pepper sprayed the shirt of the store's assistant manager, who was standing to the side of the door.
Don't call anybody.
Kristen went back to her car and drove back home. Police arrived at the scene about half an hour after the incident and managed to find her mother, Barbara, still eating lunch at the mall. Police officers took her home, promptly arrested Chris, and then brought her to be detained at Albert Mall Regional Jail.
Nobody was
2
surprised.
days later, an individual recorded his call to the jail, asking about the details of Chris's detainment.
Good afternoon. I want to verify some information about an inmate that you have.
Oh my God, Chandler.
Yeah, the name is Christian Weston Chandler. I'm not the first person who called you about this particular issue.
No, you're the 3rd person in a row. That's why I knew who it was at, probably.
Okay, I'm surprised. I want to confirm or deny if he is in jail right now because some incident that happened, I think, 2 days ago or something.
Yeah, he's here.
He is in jail.
He's here and he'll have video court Monday morning.
Okay. Would you add more information? He's going to be charged. He's going to.
Oh yeah, he got a charge for spraying gas. I think he sprayed pepper spray somebody.
Yeah, that's the current information that we have. There's some video on YouTube where he sprays the GameStop employee with some paper spray or something like that. I hope the information is okay.
Oh yeah, he's fine.
Probably just annoyed, having to clean his clothing.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I appreciate all your cooperation.
Yeah.
On December 29th, Christine was formally charged with a Class 6 felony, unlawful release of dangerous gas. She posted a $2,500 bail and was allowed to return home, with her next hearing scheduled for February 5th, 2015. Upon returning home, Chris wrote an exceptionally long Facebook post detailing her account of what transpired. Attention everyone! To preface what has happened recently, I simply remind everyone that Sonic the Hedgehog's arms are not freaking blue.
Once again,
If
everybody
hashtag
else has
Sega had
ignored,
never changed them
but not
or
you.
reversed the change between
Oh,
February and
strange.
November of this year in the new Sonic Boom video games and cartoon series on Cartoon Network, as well as the toys and whatever else, I would never have had to protest and rebel the way I have, including the creation of my group. Fix Sonic's arms immediately, Sega! Within my groups, I've led by example to push forward to the path of waking Sega up and forcing them to change Sonic's arm color back immediately. And to confess, I have done my part for real. I had personally gone into 3 of the 4 local GameStops, excluding the Fashion Square one, 3 times to personally protest in my silent way. First attack. I printed, as seen on the Facebook group, the fronts of the Sonic Boom game inserts. I fixed double-sided tape onto the backs and affixed them onto the fronts of their respective display game boxes on the shelves. Second attack. About a week later, I checked the success of my first attack, damaged a few original inserts pretty well to full removal, and of what were still there, I made attempts to transfer the inserts from the original cases into behind the inserts of different games. I've had to briefly explain my reasons and the protest, and told them that they should not be selling the Blue Arm Bandit games in the first place,
Jesus
and that they should
Christ.
send all of their remaining stock of Sonic Boom games and stuff back to Sega to make them change Sonic's arm color back immediately. They did nothing.
Of course they didn't.
And one last week later, the third and final attack, and the one and only time that the Fashion Square location had been involved as well. I made up and printed faux price tag decals with a short note to discourage purchase of the Blue Arm Bandit games and promote the protesting boycott. I also had hidden all of the blue-armed Sonic toys at Toys R Us here, concealed hidden amongst the metal cupboards, so they all would not be sold. And best boycotted
Some
for the
poor
protest.
employee has then to
They
look for
remained
the
hidden
shit
for the
and put it
longest
back.
time of over a month. Found and reshelved
pain.
near the 20th of December to my personal dismay and crestfall. And at Best Buy, all copies of their Sonic Boom games are still successfully concealed and hidden from view and purchase. Last Friday, the 26th, my mother and I were at the mall, getting pizza and spaghetti for lunch. She had informed me of a good mini refrigerator deal at Sears, so after eating, I made my way to check it out. On the way to Sears, I peeked into the GameStop, and I spotted a new Skylander figure, Blastermind. I was set to buy it, and I was going to consider checking out their Wii U pre-owned software selection in their 3-for-2 deal. Innocent. I was not looking for trouble. But then this male loomed out in front of me, frightened the crap out of me, and he said in a booming voice that only scared me worse, "You are banned from here. You need to leave now." But still determined to continue my shopping, I veered into the Wii U direction when his
What? Do
female
you not
accomplice startled me
understand?
and boomed in as well.
At that
Still feeling
simple
frightened and
statement that
mentally
you're
overloaded,
not
I made a grab
allowed
for my
in
pepper spray
there.
to use in defense. I offered a few peaceful solutions, but she ended up sending him to go get security. So I shouted, "Fine, I'm leaving," and I dropped the figure. And on my way out, I told the male not to get anyone, and we both stopped near simultaneous. I still felt my own worst from where, with the fear, startle, paranoia, and I did not
the
want him following me
excuses.
and causing more trouble upon me.
Excuses.
And then in my defense, and to make my escape, I spritzed a minuscule amount of the pepper spray downward, not in his face, and then I left. I did not learn until much later that the spritz had done a lot worse than I had imagined it would, as well as learning that they were the so-called manager and ass manager of that particular store. I had no idea of the contents of the pepper spray, or that it was illegal for use in certain situations in the state of Virginia at all.
Smart.
And I had tried the stuff on myself days before in the upstairs bathroom. A 2-second spray onto my left wrist. Some of it got onto the bathtub wall as well, like sampling a perfume or deodorant. It took me out damn well. I had to open the windows, turn on the bathroom fan, and aim the box fan into the bathroom to air the place out. And I wiped the wall off as well. And of course, I washed my hands. It took 15 to 30 minutes to make it bearable in there again. In the end, yes, I went along peacefully when the police arrived to collect me, and I had to spend a miserable weekend in jail. And I just got out on a bond and bail, yada
Did
yada
you still have
yada.
money for that? It's
In
actually
the
amazing.
end, I was the victim. I did not cause the original provoking. The assistant manager made the first attack onto me and provoked my defensive response. I was minding my own business.
You were in a
not looking for
place you were
trouble,
not allowed
and then
to be.
He startled me, similar to a potential rapist in a dark alley in a big city. Any of you would have done the same as I have in defense and escape.
are not
and we can
supposed to be
sue
there.
Sega for changing Sonic's arm color and ultimately this male getting pepper sprayed. Think about it seriously. And my protest actions are not acts of vandalism,
No, they aren't,
regardless of
absolutely.
your individual perceptions. It was not vandalism, but good protest when in around 2004 at Fashion Square. I tried their new soda machines with a credit debit card slot, and then I learned of the $5 surcharge that brought my bank account into the freaking red. I subtly posted sticky note signs onto each machine shortly after. This machine charges you $5 per card use. A few days later, the original machines returned. Nobody gave me any freaking grief or complaints at all about that. And
Yeah, but
if
you
you
still
really
were
want to see
allowed
the
in
whole
there
mess
at that
happen,
point.
go find the security tape of the time of point A, my finding Blastermind to point B, of my departure from the store. Now, if you will excuse me, I have a lot of much required packing to take care of.
He's
Good
such
day.
a bloody fucking
Kenneth
idiot,
Engelhardt
it's not
left a
even
comment,
funny.
pleading for Chris to understand that she entered an establishment from which she had been banned, with an item that was considered to be a weapon in the state of Virginia, and that she had no right to be there. Members of her Sonic Facebook group were similarly not supportive of her stance. Chris's assault and arrest were understandably a mass discussed topic on the
Nobody
Quickie
was
forums during
surprised
the
that it
closing
turned
days
out
of the year.
precisely like
In
that.
addition, Chris received some attention in more mainstream media. The video of the pepper spraying received significant views on YouTube and was featured in several.
Well then, we have at this point reached 11 hours 58 minutes. Getting very close to the time when YouTube starts cutting the beginning out again. I'm probably gonna do my usual outro with a bit extra now, and then you're gonna have to excuse me, because if I don't get up on this out of the chair soon and actually go outside, get some fresh air, and get some moving done, I'll probably fall asleep, which right now is a bit early. Probably should wait until a bit later. So, for the moment, I shall bid you adieu. Have a good one and all of that. And quickly let me check out who came by this second of the big ones. We can see that on YouTube we had, well, 2 visitors. One is Lil Snowy, coming by for it. And going like, well, that guy's even weirder than me. And right, honestly, many times weirder than anyone I've ever met it in my time. There's some people having tendencies like this, not to blame everything apart from themselves. But most would not go that fucking far to ruin themselves for that. But, you know, Chris is going his strong way, and he's only gonna get weirder, isn't he? From episode to episode to episode. Next we had little Terry, also being on the YouTube side, going like, well, but damn. Well, fair point, got to them indeed. But that is for that side. On the Twitch side, we had no slash 12 hours. Well, we had the following visitors, not necessarily in the correct order, to be fair. We had the dropping bys of Loop. Well, first and foremost, a little strategy member coming by and staying for a bit, and Kush, good old Kurosh coming by also for a bit. Terry, I think, mentioned him his third, but of course he was also amongst the earliest. Staying for quite a while, and then, well, going to sleep and coming back basically. And, well, we also had good old Fizzybone coming boy. I haven't seen him in a while. But of course, you know, he comes back every once in a while, enjoying his time. As soon as Crusader Kings is on the table, that is usually the case. And we had the Little Twos, Homing Boy, for once in a while, and Little Bing Bong, also, for the first time. Staying for a bit, seeing it and going like, well, I'll probably excuse myself at this point, which is a very fair point. Next in line we had a Little Chonky Boy, also coming by and wondering about that Sonic thing, which is a very fair assumption to be made.